Okay, now we see a table here. Before us, we see a table. This table name is called as an employee table, and we have the employee ID, employee name, and salary. All well and good. But this table should be smart enough, or should be there should be some basic intelligence in this table that under this employee name, they could not be, we should not store numbers here. Under the employee name, there should be only names. Under the salary, there should be only numbers. And under the employee ID, there should be only numbers. So data entered into a table must be validated. Okay. So let me give you a note. Data entered into a table. Data entered into the table must be validated. If it is not validated, then then we cannot use a table effectively. So we agree that data entered into the table must be validated. And is there a way that we can validate it? Yes, they can be classified. Data can be validated or they can be classified as two types. What are the two ways that we can validate the data? First thing is by assigning a data type. We can validate a data provided the data is entering into the right format inside the table by assigning something called as data type, by assigning data type. And the second thing is that we can validate the data entering inside the table by assigning by assigning something called as constraints. Okay, so if time permits, we will complete what is data type, why it is needed, how it is needed, what are the different types of data type. And in tomorrow's class, we will see what is constraint and how data entering into a table is validated using constraint. So in today's class, we are going to completely focus on the data type. Okay, now what is a data type first of all? See, I entered the other day into a kitchen and I wanted to prepare tea for myself. So see, usually, since I'm not well versed with the kitchen and all the utensils there, I was not able to find out in which box there's a tea powder and which box there was sugar. So if at all, those box were all in steel utensils, and I don't know. By looking at it, I was not able to place and understand in which box the tea powder is and in which box the sugar was, since it is a steel containers. So likewise, looking at a container, we cannot say that what value is present in it. So we need to label that steel container. In this container, tea powder is there. In this steel container, sugar is there. Then it will be easy for any newcomer to understand, okay, what is these containers? Instead of opening and checking every containers, by looking at the label or a name tag attached to the steel container, it is easy for any newcomer to see what data is present inside that particular steel container. Likewise, data types are mandatory, and where we get to know what data is present inside that particular table. Okay, so I will give you one thing is that this data types are mandatory. We cannot skip that one, but constraints are optional. Whereas data type is used to specify or determine the kind or the type of data that will be stored in a particular memory location. So I repeat, what is a data type? What is a data type in SQL? In SQL, okay. So let's understand that one. The data type in SQL is nothing but it is used to specify or determine data type. Okay, let me write it. Data type is used to specify slash determine the type or the kind of data that will be stored in a particular memory location, in a particular memory allocation. Still, you're not able to understand. Very simple. there are tables. This is a table, this is an employee table, this is an employee ID, this is an e-name, this is salary. So in this table I need to explicitly say that this employee ID is a number data type where it accepts only numbers. This e-name is a variable, or it's a character data type where it accepts only character data. The salary is a number data type where it only accepts number. Likewise, data type is used to specify or determine the type kind of data that will be stored in a particular memory allocation. To some extent, you should be able to understand what is a data type. Okay, what are the different data types in SQL we are having? This is very, very important. Once you're understanding this part, these are fundamentals. If you're understanding in this one is stronger, then you can write a big queries, and you will be able to solve major queries just by the blink of your eye, because these are fundamental things. Okay, let's understand what are the different types of data types we have. Data types in SQL, different data types. The first data type what we are having, data types in SQL, we call it as character data type. And the second data type what we are having is called as a variable character data type, or in the recent times we also have something by name varchar2, either character data type or variable character 2 data type. These are the data type we have in SQL. Another data type we have in SQL is called as a number data type. We also have a date as a data type. We also have another data type by name large object. What are the large objects that we are having? Okay, let's take a note. Under large object there are so many things. We have something by name character large object. Now what is this character large object? We will see in the coming sessions. That in short form we call it as CLOB data type. And then we also have something by name binary large object. In short form we call it as blob data type. Okay, and the next thing is that these are the data types that we have in SQL. So whatever the data that you see around you, you will have a number data, text data, image data, video data, and then file data. So many data that is around you. All these data types in SQL are captured under these categories only. All the real world data that we have seen around us can be put into these data types. So in SQL, we have character data, varchar or varchar2 data type, number data type, date data type, and a large object data type. So each and everything we are going to discuss in detail, and that will give you a complete understanding about the data types in SQL. Now, I repeat, data entered into a table must be validated. Without that, we cannot store the data. We can validate the data entered into a table by assigning data type or by assigning constraint. By these two things, we can verify that the data entered into a table is valid, can be validated or not. So data type, whatever you are seeing, the first data type is mandatorily, and constraints, whatever you are seeing, is optional. We are not discussing constraints now. We are deeply doing a post-mortem about a data type in SQL. Now, what is a data type in SQL? Data type is used to specify, determine, or define the type and kind of a data which will be stored in a particular memory allocation. What are the different types of data types we have in SQL? Character data type, varchar or varchar2, number data type, date data type, and large object. Under large object, we have character large object and binary large object. Whatever the data that we have around us, all those things can be represented in SQL using these five data types. So let us do a deep study and a complete detailed study about each and every data type, how it is used, where it is used, what are the things that we need to remember. The first thing that we are going to study about is called as a character data type. What is a character data type? Is very simple. In character data type, we can store characters. Okay. In character data type, we can store characters. We can store characters such as. So we need to tell what are the characters we can store. So in character data type, we can store characters such as example and any alphabet between A to Z, any alphabet or any alphabet combination between A to Z, provided this A to Z are caps. Okay. I am giving cap. Okay. So any characters, any combination of characters, uppercase from A to Z, or any characters of combination between lowercase a to z. So all these characters can be stored into the character data type. Also, I can store numbers, also can be stored in character data type. Number could be from any numbers between 0 to 9 combination can be stored, and also special characters can be stored inside the character data type. Karthik, you might ask me, what are the special characters that I can store inside the character data type? You can store this dollar symbol. You can store this dollar symbol inside this character data type. You can store this hash symbol into this character data type. You can store this percentage symbol into the character data type. And the last thing is you can also store this ampersand or the and symbol into the character data type. So in character data type, we can store characters such as uppercase A to Z combination of alphabets, lowercase a to z combination of alphabets, 0 to 9 combination of numerical numbers, and special characters like dollar, hash, and then a percentage, and or the and symbol can be stored inside the character data type. Now the next important thing is that whenever we use character data type, we must specify the size that you need to remember. So let me give you a point. Whenever we use char data type, we must specify the size. That is very, very important. Now, what is the size? Let me explain. But remember, whenever you are using character data type, we must specify the size. Okay, now let me give you a syntax so that you will be able to understand syntax and giving. The syntax is nothing but how in the design part how we are writing a character data type. So in the design part, if you are using character, you need to use the character keyword, and then the size you need to give in simple and open bracket. You need to give size in open and close bracket. This is how you are telling that a character data type should be looking like. Now, what is this size? Size is nothing but the number of characters that we will be storing under this one. Number of characters that we will be storing. Okay. This number, what is the number of characters? So if I want to store my name, character Karthik, character Karthik. So Karthik has 7 characters, Kartik, sorry, 6 characters. So I need to reserve 6 space. Only then I'll be able to store that word Karthik into this character data type. So can I say that it is used to specify the number of characters that can be stored. Now you might ask me a question, Karthik. Okay, today Karthik is having 6 characters, KRTHIK, 7 characters we are having. Sorry. Now the next thing, maximum how many characters can I store under this character data type? Very simple. We can store a max of 2000 characters. 2000 characters under this character data type. Okay, remember this one. And whatever the character that you are going to store, you should be storing in single quotes. That also you should remember. Character must always be within a single quotes, within single quotes. Okay, within single quotes like this you need to give not a simple and open and close bracket, but in single quotes. So can I give an example? So you can store your character data like this. ABC is one classical example. ABC, one classical example where you're storing it in single quotes, or you can store your name in single quotes, or any even one character also you're trying to store, you need to place it in single quotes only. Like this only you will be storing the character data type. Okay. Now the next important thing that you need to remember here is character data type follows fixed length memory allocation. That also is important. Character data type follows fixed length allocation. So you might ask me, what is this fixed length allocation, Karthik? Can I get some understanding? Okay, I will explain it. Just give me a minute. I will explain that one. But understand now, character data type follows fixed length allocation. That is one thing I want you to remember. And the next thing is that default size of a character. If you are not giving the default size here, by default, the default size of a character is 1. Okay. If you are giving the size in open and close bracket, it will take the size. If you are not giving, it will take the size as 1 only. Okay. So let me give you an example. Character data type I'm using, and I'm using character 8. Now I'm going to show you a diagram. Please listen to, read and review the diagram, and then you will be able to understand quite many points clearly. Okay, I'm bringing you the diagram. Please wait. Okay. Now, in this diagram, you can see that, you can see character 8. This is a character data type of 8 size. So how much is the space is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 space or 8 seats we have requested, and the data type we have requested 8 seats, and the memory is giving 8 seats for us. In that 8 seats, whatever that we have requested from the memory, and we have told that we are going to store all characters in it, and I am storing only Krish as a character. KRISH. For every character, one seat is occupied, and 5 seats are occupied like that. So we understood that these are used memory. These are used memory. And if in case you have only 5 characters that you are going to store under this character, and there are, you can see that in this example there are 3 characters, 3 seats are wasted and it is unused. So these 3 seats we have requested from the memory, but we are not using it anymore because we have storing only 5 characters, and the remaining 3 seats are unused memory. It cannot be reused, and it is wastage of memory. This is not a very good practice. Okay, that is what I am trying to give you here, that character data type has a fixed length allocation, meaning once you are asking 8 seats, the memory is giving you 8 seats. But at the time of writing the data inside the memory, you are only having 5 characters, and the remaining 3 characters cannot be reused or cannot be reused for another word or another letter. This will be going wasted. That is why it is called as a fixed memory allocation, fixed length memory allocation. Even if you are giving 8 characters, now you are asking 8 seats, you are asking, if you are trying to store one more extra also, it will not give you. So it will give you 8, and it will expect you to completely use that 8. In this case, we are not able to use completely 8 characters. We have used 5 characters, and the remaining 3 characters are unused memory and wastage of memory. That is what we are trying to give here. Character data type follows fixed length allocation, and if you are not mentioning the size here, by default it will take only one size. This is an example for a character data type. Okay, can I get an yes if you are able to understand?
Yes.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The next thing is that the next topic is, okay, 1 minute. Let me give here. I'll paste that window also here. Okay, this diagram will. The next data type what we are going to discuss is called as varchar, variable character, or varchar2 we are discussing. Variable character or varchar2 we are discussing. This is another data type that we are seeing. Okay. Subjective, this course is free, so you can make use of this one. Okay. Here, what is this varchar2? Let's understand in detail. Okay. This varchar2 is another fascinating thing here. In varchar data type, we can store again characters. So let's take down that points also. Okay. In varchar varchar data type. Varchar data type, we can store characters. We can store characters such as, what are the characters we can store? Again, the same old thing. I'm not doing anything different here. I'm going to store in varchar also. We can store all these things. So let me copy paste that. In varchar data type, in varchar data type, we can store characters such as uppercase alphabets from A to Z, or lowercase alphabets from A to Z, and combination of numbers between 0 to 9, and special characters like a dollar, hash, percentage symbol, and ampersand symbol can be stored. Okay, this is same thing like character data type. And the next thing is that whenever we use varchar data type, we must specify the size. This also we know in character data type also it is the same thing. Without specifying, by default it will take one. Let us see what is the syntax and what it is happening. Syntax we are giving here. Syntax is varchar, and then the size I am giving. Varchar and then the size. Now let us understand that size is, again, it is used to specify the number of characters that can be stored. So that point also we will write. It is used to specify number of characters that can be stored. Okay, this is the next thing. And here, what is the maximum characters we can store? We can store a maximum of 2000 characters, right? Same thing also is repeated here. We can store a max of 2000 characters in varchar also. Same thing. Everything is same. Then what is the difference? Wait, I'll give you the thing. So character must always be within single quotes. That is also the same thing. Let's copy paste that one here. Copy paste that one here. Now, what is the different thing that we are having in varchar when compared to character data type? Very simple. The only difference is that varchar data type follows variable length memory allocation. Default size of varchar is 0. Here, default size of varchar is 1. Default size of character is 1. Here, default size of varchar is 0. And it follows variable length memory allocation. This is the main important thing. So let me write, put it in bullet points and highlight it. Varchar data type follows variable length memory allocation. Default size of varchar is 0. Okay. Now, what is this variable length allocation and what is 0? Let me give you a diagrammatic view so that you will be able to understand. I'm copying the diagram so that you will be able to understand that one more clearly. Okay, so here in this diagram here, we are using varchar and then 8 we are giving. The same way in this varchar, we have requested 8 seats from the memory, and in the krish is a 5 seats that we have used to store this data, store these characters, and the remaining 3 characters, unused memory or free memory, it is reused for another data. It is not kept idle. In the old case, it was wasted. In the old case, in character data type, it was unused memory and wastage memory. But here, the unused memory is a free memory. It can be reused for other data. That is what I'm trying to give here. Varchar data type follows variable length memory allocation, meaning if at all you are using 5 characters, it will give, even though you are requested 8 seats and you are using only 5 characters, the remaining 3 characters can be reused. That is why we call this as a variable character data type. In the real world, we will be using only variable character. Very less chances we will be using character data type. In the real world, we will 99.99% we will be using variable character only, or variable character 2 data type only to store the character data. Okay, now very important point that now we already know variable character. Okay, variable character stores the data, maximum data it can store is up to 2000 characters. And if in case you are not mentioning the size, here it stores a 0. But in this case, the character data type, by default, if you are not giving the size, it takes 1. But here it takes 0. What is the difference between varchar and varchar2? Varchar2 is nothing but an updated version of varchar. In varchar, we are able to store only 2000 characters, but in varchar2, we can store 4000 characters. That is the only difference. Varchar2 is nothing. Varchar2 is nothing but updated version of varchar, and maximum size of 4000 characters can be stored using var2. This is the point that I want to instill in your mind. Clear? Yes, you have
Yes,
understood this part.
perfect.
Thank you, Raj. The next data type what we are going to study is called as a number data type. Okay. Okay. Now I'll give you one assignment. Try to do that assignment. If you can, try to get an answer for it. In interview, definitely they might ask you this question. Assignment is difference between character data type and varchar2 data type. This is one important question. Try to gather from your understanding, try to answer this one. So in the meantime, if you are able to get the right answers, post it and we will all learn. Okay. The next data type, what I want to cover is a number data type. Number data type. We all know what is number data type. Anything that we are representing in numbers, it becomes a number data. So just give me a moment. I'll put it in the right place. Now third thing is number data type. Okay, so let's understand in greater detail what is this number data type all about. The number data type is used to store numerical values. Okay, so let's put that this number data type is used to store numeric value. That's the first point. Okay, and you need to remember that this number data type accepts two arguments. Okay, that also I'll give you. Number data type can accept two arguments such as the number data type should be accepting two arguments. The first argument name we call that as a precision. If you don't know what is an argument, don't worry. Argument is nothing but number data type will accept two inputs. First input name we call it as precision, and the second input name we call it as scale. Okay. So wait a minute. I have not explained what is precision and scale. In few minutes, I'll be able to explain. The next thing is that I'm going to explain the actual syntax of this particular number data type. Syntax. Here, when I'm writing the syntax goes like this. I am writing number data type. And then inside open the simple bracket, call this as a precision. I'm giving an input by name precision, and then open up a square bracket and I'm giving a number by name, something by name scale. Okay, I am closing whatever the brackets that I have opened. So the syntax is number data type, and then I'm giving the precision one input I'm passing, and then another input I'm passing called a scale. The precision is passed inside a simple bracket, and then the scale input is passed inside a square bracket. Now, what is this precision? What is this scale? I'll give you definition. Later, I will show you a diagram. Then you will be able to understand more in detail. Do not worry if you have not understood what is precision and scale. When you look at the diagram after taking the definition, you will understand it clearly. Okay, so let's take the definition. Precision. What do you mean by precision? Precision, number data type accepts two inputs. One input name is called as precision. So precision is nothing but precision is used to determine the number of a digit, is used to determine the number of digits used to store an integer value. Even if you have not understood, please hold on. You will understand it in some time. The range of the precision is 1 to 38. Okay. What is the scale input? That also I'll give you the definition and later you'll be able to understand. The scale is nothing but scale is used to determine the number of the number of digit used to store decimal value, or in case float value within the precision. Okay, please hold on. Even if you're not understood, after this one line you'll be able to understand looking into the diagram. The value of a scale is a zero. The value of scale is zero. The range of a scale, is minus 84 to 127. Now looking into this one, you will not understand anything. Now when I show you the diagram, you will be able to understand it completely. Let me show you the diagram. Come here. Okay, so this is the diagram. Come here, you will be able to understand it. We have number data type. Number data type takes two inputs. Okay. See here, this is a one example number data type. It is taking one input here. The one first input name, we call that as a precision. What is that precision meaning? The precision is telling how many number of digit it can store. So in the number data type, this is the precision value that I'm giving. It is taking an input 3. This precision is nothing but how many digit or how many numbers it can store. Since it is 3, the maximum value of 3 is 999. The maximum value of the 3 digit is either 999 or plus or minus 999. It can be either, it could be plus 999 or it could be minus 999. And the next thing here, number data type, and the first input what I'm giving here is precision. This precision is nothing but used to determine the number of digit used to store an integer value. 4 digits it can store. The highest number of 4 digit is all 4 nines. Either it could be plus 4 nines or either it could be minus 4 nines. Okay, so this becomes the first input. What we are giving is called as precision, which tells how many digits that number should be. And the second input what I am passing is called as a scale. It is telling that if I'm in this case, the total numbers what I am trying to store is 5 digit. So the maximum high number of 5 digit is 5 nines. 1 2 3 4. Either it could be plus 59 or minus 59. In this case, the second input what I am getting is a scale. The scale is telling where I should be placing the decimal value, where I should be placing the float value. In this case, after the 2 digit it is placing from right to left. From right to left, when I count 1 2, so I am placing the dot here, the decimal value here. That is what it is, 5 comma 2. 5 digits, and at the decimal of 2 digits we are getting precision and scale. Now here the fifth example, 7, number 7 comma 3. 7 is a precision and 3 is a scale. So 7 and 9s I am taking 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So this side 4 and this side 3. So 7 9s I am taking, 7 digits I am taking, plus or minus 7 digits are taking it as either plus or minus 99999 7 times, or and then I'm giving 3 as a decimal point value. From 3 decimal point value, meaning from right to left, I am counting from 1 2 and 3. So I'm placing it right after the third decimal point I'm giving. So this gives you the scale. Now I'm giving you number 3 and the number open the bracket, 3 is a precision and 6 is a scale. Now how many 3 digits I can give? 3 digits I have already given 3 as 9, and the remaining 6 digits it has to give place a decimal value at the sixth digit. So I have only 3 digits of 9. For the remaining 3 digits I don't have any numbers, so I'm appending that remaining 3 digits with this 0 zeros, and I'm placing that sixth, in the sixth decimal place I'm placing 0, and then the seventh main significant bit, the seventh digit, I'm placing it 0. So this is how a number data type is placed in a SQL. The first number is called as precision, which tells how many number of digits used to store an integer value, and that can range from 1 to 38, meaning you can store 1 digit to maximum 38 digits you can store. Okay, and this scale, the range or scale that you are given is, you can start from -84 to plus 27, 127 you can do, but that's all numbers, don't need to buy at it. But just remember, number data type takes two input, one is precision, another is scale. Precision tells how many digits it can store, and scale tells where I can place the decimal value. Okay, now go ahead and read the understanding. Precision is used to determine the number of digits used to store an integer value. The range of precision I can store from one digit to maximum 38. Scale is used to determine the number of digits used to store decimal value within the precision. Are you able to understand this part? Yes or
Yeah.
no? Everybody?
It's the last one number, Karthik. 3 is the precision and 6 is scale. I didn't understand that.
No, here 3 is just the precision and 6 is still the scale. Here what is happening, brother? 3 numbers only I can. So I'm taking only first number what I'm taking is always the precision. Here always precision. Next
Yeah.
one always scale. Since precision is only 3, but dot I should be placing the decimal value scale what I need to place at the sixth digit. So I have only 3 digits, only 9. The remaining 3 digits I need to append it with 0. That's what I'm giving 6 here. 3 zeros are added. Then I'm placing a dot, then I'm placing a 0. Because if I don't have a number, I can append it with 0. You able to understand, or shall I repeat it once again?
No, no, I'm able to understand.
Okay. Okay. So the next data type what we are learning now is called as the fourth data type, called as a date data type. What is this date data type? The date data type is used to store date in a specific format. The date data type is used to store the date, is used to store the data in a specific format, okay. What is the syntax for that one? The syntax for that is very simple. Let me take up a diagram and explain it to you so that is this diagram helpful for you to understand, quickly saving time?
Yes.
Yes, Karthik.
Okay. So here we have this date format. Usually the date format is in two styles in SQL. Either it is DD, it is date, month, and two wise. That is, if it is 2025, it will be only 25, or it could be DD, month, and four wise. That is complete year. So it can store the data. SQL can store the date either in two formats only. That's all. Okay. Either it is DD, MON, YY, or DD, MON, and 4 wise. It can store the data in only these formats. That is what I wanted to mention under the date data type. There is no much to discuss under that one. Okay. The next data type we call it as a large object data type, where this is quite interesting, where you will see a lot of interesting facts here. The first thing we call that as under large object, we call it as character large object, or we can call this as a CLOB data type. CLOB data type. What does this mean? This character large object is used to store huge amount of character. It can store the character data type up to 4 GB of space. That is what I wanted to mention. Character large object. In short form, we call it as CLOB. Character large object is used to store a huge amount of character up to 4 GB of size. So say for example your OneDrive files, your Google Drive files, which is huge in size, all these things can be stored under this character large object. If the character size is more, yeah, and you wanted to store not in one or two characters, but you wanted to store in GBs, then you can go for character large object. CLOB is one data type. Okay, the syntax for that one is this, so that you will be able to understand. Let me pull that syntax. Okay, the syntax is like this. The syntax says that CLOB, and this is the data type. The syntax says that, and character, either it could be CLOB or character large object, and then you are giving the length. The length could be in either kilobytes, megabytes, or gigabytes. So whatever the size, either it could be a KB, MB, or a GB. Based on that one, you can define the length and you can store the data. If the length is short, if it is a KB file, store it in KB. If it is an MB file, MB, store it in MB. If it is a GB file, store it in GB file. Now, in this case, the data is stored in the form of a characters, and here a huge amount of data can be stored up to 4 GB. This is one point where I wanted to mention. But in the real world, in our examples, in our data science or data analysis work, we will not be using CLOB. We will be using date, number, or varchar data types only. This is only for, any huge data that we cannot break it down, then we store it in large object. But usually we have to store the data either in character, number, or date data type only, or very few times we will be storing it in the object form. The next character object is called as binary large file. Okay, binary large object, we call that in short as blob. Okay, and what is this doing? Let's take up that point also. Now this point says that binary large object or blob is used to store binary values. Okay, so let me take down binary large object. Large object, or in short we call it as blob, is used to store the binary values. What are these binary values? If you're asking me, any images, okay, these are treated as blob object. Images is one classical example, or your MP3 files, that could be your binary large object, or your MP4 files can be a large object, or our PDF files can be our binary large object. So binary large object is used to store the binary values of images, MP3, MP4, PDF, etc., etc. Up to 4 GB we can store, up to 4 GB of the size we can store under this binary large object. And the data type, the syntax is again the same thing. So let's give you that syntax. So the syntax looks like this: blob, again binary large object. It could be either in length KB, MB, or in GB. So usually we will be using only character data type, or variable character data type, or number data type, or date data type. Very few times we will be using large object or other things. So this covers your understanding about data types. We initially understood, quick revision, what is data types. Data types is necessary because data entered into the table must be validated. So for that one, we need to have a data type. By assigning data type, we can make sure the data entered into a table is validated. So data type are mandatory and constraints are optional. What is a data type in SQL? We understood types of data type. We have character, varchar, varchar2, number, date, large object, character, large object, binary, large object, and character data type, what it is and what is the disadvantage of it. Variable character, varchar, what it is and what is the advantage of varchar, and what is the difference between variable character and variable character 2, and what are the differences we are trying to say. Number data type takes two inputs, precision, scale. Precision tells us how many digits it can store. Scale tells us where we need to place the decimal value. Data is nothing but date can be stored in two formats that is given here. Large object, character large object and binary large object, and for what purpose it is used, you are able to understand. In tomorrow's class, we will be covering about the constraints. What are the rules and regulations and guardrails we need to follow while storing the data inside the table? That will be more interesting. Hope you were able to understand today's class.